Hello, I'm ET. Welcome to my channel where we do everything together. I think ranked among the top 5 fears of competitive swimmers is the fear of your goggles falling off when you dive in. This has happened to me quite a few times and it has deeply sucked every single time. So you get to the race and you have trained so hard, and this is that one moment and you are so excited, looking forward to improving your best time, and you're on the block and you've put your goggles on and you're just ready to go, and you dive in and the water hits you right in the eyeballs, and that's that moment of deep dread. um and that you just know this is not going to be as fast as you want it to be because you are so uncomfortable and you can't see where you're going. And you find yourself with like water streaming into your eyes as you move forward through the water. And the last time it happened to me was in a 50 fly, and I'm not a fly swimmer, but for that specific event, I decided I wanted to see and I wanted to swim the 50 fly, so I did. And upon diving in, my goggles came off, but they went to sit right there, like yeah. So I swam the 50 fly with my goggles stuck over there. And what happened was the goggles closed my nose and it also closed most of my mouth. So I couldn't breathe properly and I had to swim all of that 50 fly without being able to really breathe. So I would just go. It was a nightmare. I made it. I made it through. I did not swim fast at all. Um, and it was deeply, deeply uncomfortable. And I don't want to ever have to do that again. But in the process, I learned a few things. And I thought at that time I was prepared and I know everything and it's not going to fall off. And then it did. And then I learned something else. So I'm going to share that with you guys. And I hope this helps you in your next race. Okay, I'm going to start with the most obvious and then I'm going to work my way through to double capping, which I mentioned in the title of the video. Number one, do not look up when you dive in. This is very important, and this goes hand in hand with your dive technique overall, and this will be taught to you when somebody teaches you how to dive. So I'm sure that your coach will have told you, keep your chin to your chest, eyes down when you dive in, arms above the head, and do not look up. But this is really important. It's a simple little thing, even with all the other things that can be learned and practiced regarding diving technique. The do not look up is very important because when you do look up, it tilts your chest upwards. The water, when you do hit the water, goes and does this. Under your goggles, it lifts the goggles off your eyes. So if you just keep your eyes down, this will already keep your head down and your chin towards your chest, and you won't have that water pushing the goggles up and over. So just remember, look at the water, do not look up when you dive in. Number two, get a good pair of racing goggles. Racing goggles are more sleek, more streamlined, low profile, so they fit close to your eyes. And because they are that close to your eyes, it is more difficult for the water to pick them up and push them over or press them down because it has less of a surface for the water to scoop up. But when you get some goggles that are training goggles for, let's say, what they sometimes refer to as training goggles for juniors, or your open water goggles, or just in general casual swimming goggles, they have larger glasses and they also stand out further from your eyes. And because of that, there's a larger surface for the water to scoop up. So it is easier for those goggles to fall off than it is for the low profile racing goggles. So get a pair of racing goggles and they'll fit more securely and stay on more securely. Number three, we have finally reached the principle of double capping. You need one latex cap and one silicone cap. First question, why not two silicone caps? That is up to you. You can use two silicone caps, but I have found a latex cap underneath, then your goggles, and then a silicone cap on top works the best for me. The reason being the silicone cap seems to cling better to the latex cap when the latex cap's underneath. It feels like when you put a silicone cap underneath and a silicone cap on top, it feels like the top one slips up more easily. So I just find a more secure fit with the latex one at the bottom than your goggles, and then the silicone cap on top. All right, so I'm going to demonstrate the double capping for you guys. So what I have here is the latex cap, TYR latex cap. It's the latex cap that I find, well, the only one I could find actually, that is of good quality and relatively comfortable. We all know latex caps aren't great. I mean, I don't like them. They pull my hair. I used to swim with latex caps when I was still in primary school. We didn't have, in the first few years of my swim career, I'm that old, but the first few years of my swim career, I only swam using latex caps. And my hair, it hurt so badly. And then silicone caps came out, and it was just so marvelous, and the hair pulling stopped. So, all right, so what you need, latex cap. Latex cap goes on first. Well, isn't that lovely? Damn it. Can I just say that is for your amusement? After 29 years of swimming, and I still mess it up. So, right, okay. So here we go. Latex cap underneath. Right. Now the goggles. Your Streamline racing goggles goes on top. Important thing to remember with the goggles when you put the goggles on, keep the straps high. So if your goggles have two straps like this one and they can separate, at least keep the top one, keep it as high as possible. And actually, I would think put the lower one, don't put it down there, put it up here as well. In my experience, what happened to me in the gala that I dove in and it went off. Let me demonstrate what happened. I dove in with a 50 fly, and it was under. I was double capping. I put the other cap on top, but then because the straps wasn't high enough, so the one strap was here, and I think it went down like that. And then I dove in and it rolled down like that. And this is how I swam the 50 fly, all of it. It was terrible. So I can highly advise when you put it on high. Make sure that it's high. Make sure that it fits securely. Then put the goggles on your eyes as such. Right. Pull this down as far as you want it. Pull it down. Make sure it's high at the back. It's a whole mission. And if you have two straps and you want to cross the one over the other one, sort of have the top strap that's on top, press the other one down, you go for it. I do that. And then we take the second cap and my current favorite cap brand, Speedo. Nobody's sponsoring me, just saying. But these are just nice. They're not too thick. They're not too like stiff. They have a good stretch. And I like this particular one. The quality changes ever so often. Every time I buy a cap, it's different. I mean, you buy it, then it fits well. You buy another one, you're thinking it's going to fit great, and then, well, it doesn't. And it doesn't have stretch, or it's small. But this one's just great. Right, so you take this cap, you put it over the other one while you have the goggles on your eyes already. And then you pull it down as far as you want it down. Make sure, I like to pull the cap down very far because it just feels, when I race, it feels more secure. So I like to sort of pull it down and hug, like that. I like to hug my goggles when I compete, but you don't have to. I mean, you can move it higher, whatever works for you. But I like to have it there that the goggles cross, the cap crosses the goggles over there. Just feel like it's pressing it down all the way. And make sure that it's pulled down and and that the straps stay high when you've pulled the cap down. And now there you go. Now you're ready for your race. So what I usually then do is, I walk around like this. I walk around like this. But yeah, it should, with all of these things, if you apply everything, if you have your racing goggles, when you dive in, you keep your eyes down and you've double capped with your strap high, this together should keep the goggles on your eyes for your next race. Good luck.